Good morning and welcome to day number 4 of our hike up the summit of Kilimanjaro. So, first part of our hike is going to be hiking up that wall. Once we get over it, then we'll head over to another point. We're going to be having lunch. That's going to be about 6 kilometers, give or take. And then after that, there'll be another 4 more kilometers over to base camp. Now, base camp is going to be the same elevation as the lava towers we're at. So it's going to be a little bit nippy, a bit cold. Yesterday when we were at the lava towers, it had already started snowing as well. So hopefully it's not too cold, but probably will be. And then that is what we'll be summiting starting in the wee hours of tomorrow morning, about 12 a.m. give or take. So yeah, so it'll be pretty fun. This will be more of a zigzag back and forth as we ascend up the wall. So yeah, let's do it. Okay, so we are about 25% of the way up this wall. And from here, we're essentially going to be rock climbing up the rest of this part of the wall. Yeah, there's not really much of a path here, but you know, it's going to be fun. Reached the top of the wall. Yeah, and as we were reaching up about the 50% mark, you could just tell that the climate is definitely changing. You can start seeing a lot more snow and frost on a lot of the rocks and stuff like that. So definitely a sign of the weather that we're going to start experiencing once we get to the base camp, and the weather that we'll experience as we hike up to the summit come tomorrow morning. So, but for now, just gonna keep trekking on and get headed on over to the base camp. Okay, so finally arrived at the base camp, and right after I got here, I can start seeing a number of people who went up to the summit earlier today and who succeeded. And now they're headed back down to the gates, which is only about another 3-hour hike downhill. Yeah, from base camp all the way up to the stellar point, it's about 4.3 kilometers, about a 6-hour hike. And then to the Uhura peak, it's about 5 kilometers or 7 hours. Yeah, I figure come tomorrow, it'll only take me about 4 hours maybe to reach the Uhura peak. Right now, the elevation that we're at is a little bit over 15,000 feet. So, yeah, 15.5, somewhere in that range. So, about a 4,000 foot hike tomorrow up to Uhura Peak, but shouldn't be too bad. The biggest thing is just waking up early in the morning when it's freezing cold outside. By the time we get there, it should be hopefully 5 a.m. when the sun, 6 a.m., right around when the sun's going to start coming out. And yeah, so hopefully we'll start to feel the warmth up there. In terms of today's hike, I'd say by far and large it was the most mentally challenging hike thus far. The main reason is that yesterday on day 3, when we started the hike, we started at about an elevation of 13,000 vertical feet. And then when we reached the lava towers, that was about 16,000 vertical feet. And then we descended all the way down to our camp for last night, and that was at, again, 13,000 feet. So mentally, it felt like we just didn't achieve anything, because we made no, if any, very little elevation gain in yesterday's hike. Yeah, and then today, essentially, it's just another 2,500 vertical feet, give or take, from the camp that we stayed in last night to the base camp. And yeah, overall, it's just mentally challenging. Now, while the difference, the camp that we stayed at last night is at 13,000 feet, and this one, base camp's at 15,500 feet, give or take. We did have to hike up the wall, and that was about another 1,000 feet. And then right after we got up there, we descended back to the 13,000 feet of where we started the day. So overall, today's climb was about 3,500 feet, vertical feet. So yeah, mentally draining and challenging. Also, the terrain is also changing as well. It's harder to have footing here when you're hiking up the mountain. So that was a big challenge. And yeah, so overall, yeah, definitely the most challenging day thus far. Now I'm going to go to my tent and get into my sleeping bag, and or as I like to call it, my cocoon, and hopefully wait a little bit longer, drink some more water, and eventually have some dinner. And yeah. So we've been at the base camp now for about 4 hours, 5 hours, give or take. And one thing I haven't touched on up until now is the bathroom situation here. Now, it's not the best situation that you would ever want to find yourself in. I feel like the first day, false expectations were set, because the first camp that we had an actual toilet. Not the greatest thing in the world or the most sanitary thing in the world, but there was a toilet. And every camp after that, nope, not one to be found. Yeah, so, oh shit, so, not a good situation to be in. I'm not going to go into too much detail about this, but what I will say is that some operators have an option that you can opt into, and they will provide you with a private toilet. An actual toilet that is sanitary. Do it. Who gives a crap about the cost? Do it. Otherwise, you're going to have to be going to the bathroom in that. Yeah. I'm going to try my best not to go into the details, but let's just say that you'll be glad that you spent the money on a private toilet. I wish my operator did that. Unfortunately, that just wasn't an option. But from the YouTube videos and the research I did ahead of this trip, the cost, from what I could tell, was about $50 a day. So if you're going with a group of people, just split the cost. I mean, and if you're not, you're on by yourself, then literally, who gives a shit? Pun intended. So this hike was initially planned for 5 nights and 6 days, and that would enable us to, and today's day number 4, yeah, and that would enable us to wake up in the wee hours of tomorrow morning and hike all the way up to Aurora on day number 5, and then come back down, and then I get some rest and sleep, and then hike back down to the Moeka Gates on day 6. Well, this guy had a brilliant idea that instead of staying here for a fifth night, that once we head up to the Aurora Summit, that we would come all the way back down here and keep on going to the Moeka Gates. It's only about 17.5 kilometers.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
8 hours.
Yeah, that the sign says, but I figure we can do it in less than 3.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, from here to the base camp to the Aurora Summit, it's about 5 kilometers. Yeah, and then 4.3 kilometers to Stellar Point. So yeah, not too far. So yeah, we should be able. We're gonna head out of here tomorrow morning at around 1 a.m. We planned that it'll take us about 5 hours to get all the way up to the Aurora Point summit, which would let us see the beautiful sunrise. And then from there, come all the way back down to the base camp. It should take us 1 to 2 hours, give or take, in that time frame. And then from there, race it down to the Moeka Gates, and we should be there way before 12 p.m. tomorrow. And in doing so, it'll give us a lot more time to spend looking around Tanzania, seeing what it has to offer. And it'll also give us a full day on what would be day number 6 for hiking. But it'll give us a full day to look around Tanzania and, yeah, maybe go on a safari and check out some coffee plantations. And, yeah, so should be pretty fun. Can't wait. And thank you, Alberto.
Most welcome, Brother Andrew.
Okay, so now for the real reason of why we're heading down early. So, about 30 minutes ago, ran out of toilet paper. The operator provides 2 rolls. Typically that would be good, but if any of you have ever taken altitude sickness pills, then you know the side effects of that. I'm not going to go into the details. If you don't, do the research. But yeah, we're out of toilet paper. The other thing is that at the rate that I go through coffee, we're very close to being out of that too. So, without toilet paper and coffee, yeah, I'm gonna go batshit crazy. So, we're gonna go down tomorrow. So yeah, those are the real reasons.